Although we've learned our lesson.
Welcome everyone. It's about 6:30 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on this 15th day of August 2023. I would ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal, will you lead us?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. We ask for peace in the warring countries. We ask you bless the sick, injured, and those who have passed as we pray for an end to the conflicts that exist today. And as always, we ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Kotrick,
Here.
Krug is present, Kessler,
Here.
Gopal,
Here.
Tucker.
Present.
You have a full board.
Thanks, Bob. I'd like to note for the record that Township Attorney Jack Belzer, Operations Manager Tom Broker, our Fire Chief Ryan Volz, and Zoning Administrator Mike Deem are also present. Yes. Additionally, the following Township officials are also have joined us via Zoom, and that is Alan and Melissa Lawrence from Lawrence Engineering. Tom, will you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting?
Yes, to the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised this meeting is being recorded to be shown on Public Access TV, Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where the public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there are no public hearings, therefore all public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the Township's website at fentontownship.org.
Thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to the first business in order, which is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
I vote yes. Kotrick,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The agenda stands approved as presented. Next business order is meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the meeting minutes from the August 1st regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Moving on to expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices?
I have questions, Tom, about the Centeris checks. It looks like there are 3 of them, or 4 of them. One appears to be a monthly maintenance contract for $1,600, and then there's 3 a la carte items. Are none of the a la carte items covered under the monthly maintenance contract?
Well, we have a number of different services that are billed separately. Firewall, the server, and I can pull the invoices out in more detail.
Well, they did say, do you know what, well, if you can tell me what the a la carte stuff is about, why that's separate, and
It may be the hourly, let me see what I got here. Firewall, Semantic, and Exchange monthly bill is the $451. Server monitoring with the desktop monitoring, Acrobat Pro, that's the $382. And the $1,600 is a combination of the various hourly charges for work done. We had an issue with getting Adobe renewed. It took some time to get that done. That included some online remote support.
So the 1,600 is not monthly maintenance?
No,
That's an hourly thing?
That's hours for the month, things that were done actually, yeah, for July. Be happy to share the whole invoice, it's a lot of detail.
And we also have a monthly ongoing maintenance contract in addition to these four?
Well, the services, the server monitoring, the firewall, there's a number of things that are on a monthly recurring basis. And then we get billed once a month for the other work, any other work that's done.
That's the 1,600.
Yes.
So are you saying the other three that are on here are monthly recurring fees?
Let's see if it's August, yes.
All right. If you would get me copies of those, I would like to look at those.
Absolutely.
John, I'll sit with you.
Okay.
Those are- Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, the motion is ordered to approve the expenditures totaling $990,044.05 for payment.
So moved.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
I vote yes. Cotrick.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, expenditures stand approved as presented. Moving on to public hearings, we have none this evening. Reports, are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? Any committee reports? Hearing none, we'll move on to communications. There are no communications this evening. Moving on to adoption of ordinances. Proposed amendment to grading ordinance. This is the second reading and vote on the adoption. I'm sure we reviewed reviewed the memo in our packets. Our zoning administrator, Mike Dean, can provide additional information if necessary. Want to come on out, Mike? No, just go ahead. We'll just wait. Is there any questions or comments from the board?
Well, what we have is different than what we had 2 weeks ago, so everyone is clear. What they're proposing now is simply to remove the certification process that was subject to the change. So my question, and I apparently wasn't paying attention 2 weeks ago. I didn't realize that Eagle had called us out for not doing the certification.
Well, so that's sort of what got the ball rolling,
Okay.
right, for us to review the ordinance, right? Because we had this section of the ordinance that we weren't using.
But Eagle found it and called us out on it?
I think that when we gave them a copy of all the relevant ordinances, that was one of the ordinances that we were looking at. I know that there was comments, right, about the grading ordinance to making sure that we were,
Well, I got the rest of it. I mean, the builders said cost, and I picked all that up. I
Right.
missed the Eagle part, and that caught me by surprise when I saw it in the minutes, but it probably was Kessler was probably bothering me or something. Oh, he was on a cruise.
Yeah, look, I mean.
Imagine that, Kessler was
Right.
on a cruise.
Yeah, so that's what kicked off this whole, the whole process of reviewing the ordinance. We were there was only 2 communities in the county that were doing it to begin with. So it wasn't a requirement, but just like all ordinances, right? If you have a section, you should be enforcing your ordinance, right? And if you're not, why not? So why are we removing it now when we were talking about just doing the staking? The grading ordinance is an engineering ordinance, and the staking in and of itself wasn't addressing an engineering problem, right? The as-built that's in the ordinance and not changing, right, basically functions the same as the foundation certification, right, just earlier in the process. We've been reviewing our building permit process, how we do inspections, we're creating flow charts for everything, and we've working on improving those, processes. So the benefit from doing the staking is really a zoning and building benefit not an engineering benefit, so it's not really appropriate in the grading ordinance. And we are still able to receive that benefit by changing our policies and how we're going out to do inspections, the information we take with us, information we're checking. So moving forward, the effect will be the same. It's just not enforceable under the engineering ordinance.
I hesitate to say what I do is called golf, but I play in a golf league, and Brian Schultz is on that league, and he's cornered me a couple of times to ask me about it. I don't know if he's talked to you at all, or has he?
Mhm.
Okay, well, these folks don't know. I guess we'll share with them, but, you know, I think I jokingly referred to it as the Surveyor Full Employment Act, I think, last time when we were here. So his suggestion at the time was that the staking be done after the foundation was in, so that you could correct any problems before the structure was built. Because I think as it was proposed before today, it was going to be staked before the foundation went in, which makes a certain amount of sense until you consider the notion that stakes get pulled, they get moved, and when the over-excavating happens. So what he was telling me made some logical sense to me, but now we're saying we don't even need to do it at all, and maybe the as-bilt's enough. But he did make another point that I thought was valid. You know, whether this is useful or not probably depends on whether you're talking about an 80-acre parcel or a 40-foot lot on Lake Fenton. You know, you may want to, in some scenarios, have the ability to require that when the boundaries are tight, is basically what it would be.
Right, so the staking in of itself is still going to occur, right? The issue is that it's not going to be certified, right? So
But who does the staking?
Well, the builder does the staking, right? And
Right,
so
not a surveyor. Yeah.
correct. So the issue that we've had, and it's a very rare issue, right, where, you know, an applicant will make changes to their plans after they got an approval, right? And I want to kick out, you know, the bedroom so now have a walk-in closet, or I want to expand the sunroom into a full four-season room. I think the policy changes that we've made, you know, and the information that we're giving to our inspectors when they go out there are going to identify those issues earlier in the process, because before they weren't being noticed until the as-built or when assessing was going out, right? And that's way too far in the process. We've identified that as a potential issue, and again, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen sometimes. And we believe we can address that through better information for our inspectors when they go out and do the inspections.
Well, I think you and Lawrence Engineering are in far better position to evaluate it than I am, but I did want to share the comments, A, because I told him I would, and B, because I think they're worth digesting anyway. So I just throw them out there for what they're worth, but I think probably what you're suggesting now, he'll probably go home and cry now, because it's not Surveyor's Full Employment Act anymore. But
Well, just to remind the board also that Mike and I did sit in 2 meetings. We did have a meeting with builders, local builders. We had it with the engineer, with Lawrence Engineering. Melissa was there. So we did talk the back and forth. And I think, I don't want to quote Stuart, but if I'm off, let me know. But he said in his 40 years that he's seen one that was actually off. Because again, nobody's going to dig a hole without a stake anyway. But yeah, they do overdig. So we did go through the whole process, and I'm very comfortable with the change. We don't need to overregulate, don't need to under, but I think it's.
And we're procedurally good on voting on this as a second reading, even though it's different than the first?
I think that's kind of a board call. If you'd be more comfortable considering this a revised introduction, we can certainly do that.
I'm asking the question.
Yeah,
I want to do it the proper way.
I would defer to council.
You can vote on it. I mean, that's part of the idea. When it's introduced, if you need to make changes, then it comes back again to vote upon with those changes. So yeah, you could if you wanted to, but if you want to defer the final vote, you can't.
I don't see where you gain anything. I just want to make sure procedurally we're correct.
We're gonna be back
Procedure,
here
you're correct in doing it now.
I think if we were proposing a whole new requirement that we hadn't talked about before, then maybe a revised first reading makes sense. But just
And we're just
eliminating
Yeah.
the old one and the
Yeah.
proposed one.
I don't think anybody's going to come rushing in here and tell us not, unless Eagle's going to show up and say, That's what surprised me the most. I don't know why, but it's like, really?
I think it was really about us not enforcing an ordinance that we had in the books.
Yeah, but
So
Eagle's the one that's calling us out for it. It's just, I don't know. I wouldn't expect that to happen, but that's the way life is, right? Lots of things that you wouldn't expect to happen.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, I need a motion to adopt an amendment to grading ordinance number 662 to remove language requiring a foundation certificate as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Cotrick,
Yes.
I vote yes. Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. All right, the next business order is unfinished business. We need to reschedule the joint meeting with Fenton Township Planning Commission, so we do need to come up with a consensus on a time and a date. Do we want to, I'm just tossing it out, do we want to keep it on the next?
Makes sense.
Because that kind of worked out very well. They're already here from 6 to 6:30. Mike, would that, or do we have a very heavy schedule? I know the last one we didn't have a schedule, we had a light schedule, so you could do it upstairs.
So we have 3 public hearings. We have 2 special use permit renewals for the Barn Fest and our wedding venue, right, that's over on Lobdell Road. And then we have a special use permit for an accessory building across the street for a lake lot. And
That's too much already.
Yeah.
What about the next meeting? Oh, no.
I don't have anything scheduled for that meeting, so.
Perfect.
So when is that next meeting, Mike?
8th, possibly?
8th of,
Does that sound like
That's
a
8th of
date?
September? Let me look.
No,
let me
it's be the
get
14th.
affirmation here.
14th.
It's gone on the 9th.
No.
September 14th,
Thursday,
Correct.
September 14th is the next planning commission.
6?
Well, I think 6:30 is what we're talking for the
Yeah,
board.
6:30, because they're
Yeah.
gonna start at 6, so you could just limit,
Mhm.
being that far out, you could just limit the agenda.
Yep.
Is that good?
Works for me.
What time was it?
6:30.
6:30.
14th, yeah.
It'd be great if everybody could be here. It's an important issue. Is that,
Oh, while we're talking about it, I promised multiple times during the planning commission meeting that the video would be available for the board to look at, because we did still have a fair amount of public comment. It wasn't a humongous amount, but it was not a small amount either. So that's available for anybody that wants to look at it. I did tell them it was gonna be rescheduled, so they could come and say it again if they wanted, but I wanted to iterate that it was
Yeah.
available to the board, anybody that wants to see it.
yeah, and I.
Over an hour long. An hour and 4 minutes. I think.
It's
Was it
an
an hour?
It's an
Yeah.
hour and 4 minutes, but I would recommend that the board, because we may have a whole different group of people that show up to that meeting. So if you have time, because we were supposed to be scheduled to be here anyway, because of a posting issue, we weren't here, I would recommend that we take an hour out of your time over the next month to watch it. I think it would really help every board member here. If you have the time, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I think Mike sent us a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
it's up on the
Yeah, I
YouTube
watched it.
anyway.
Yeah.
yep.
Yep.
One thing too, if you happen to read the article in the Tri-County Times, they were able to go online and identify 146 verbo or rentals in Fenton Township on the lakes.
Seriously?
I
When
think
was
Mike was
this?
able to find.
That's what they said.
When was the article?
That's a lot, because
Yeah.
I've done that. I've gone on Verbo and Airbnb, and I
I-
didn't find anywhere near that amount. Maybe in the
The whole
county.
township?
County?
Maybe the whole town.
Was it the
Yeah,
county?
No,
this
it's still
is
too many.
just late.
Yeah,
That's
that
still
seems
too
I'll
really
get it
high.
and get it to everyone.
You think, is
because
it recent, or is it?
Yeah, it was 2 papers ago.
Yeah, because I usually make that part of my job. I read that because there's a lot of important stuff in it
But
for us.
there are some out there.
I don't know, the Tri-County would just pull the number out randomly.
No,
Yeah.
well, I'm
In
sure they
fact,
would check
one
it.
upset neighbor caught me at my daughter's old house, and he walked me down and showed me where they're renting out the attic of the garage he has across the street and letting him access the water through
killing me,
his
Bob.
lot.
You're killing me. Seriously?
Yeah, I can show you if you want, John.
No, show him.
So, you know, one of the things we try and encourage people to do is to let us know, right? Because, you know, there's a lack of getting the complaints to the right people, right? And so people like to complain among themselves, but that violates the zoning ordinance regardless of rentals, and that is something we can enforce right now. Case in point, right? We have issues with people renting their boats from their docks. Well, we have identified the appropriate section within the zoning ordinance, and we are enforcing that.
I'm
Well,
not blaming you, Mike.
No, but, no, and I'm not saying, we need to get the word out, that they need to tell us about these situations so that we can enforce our ordinances. Because, you know, time and time again, you say, oh, no one's going to enforce, no one's going to enforce. Well, if we are unaware of something, right, we can't enforce. And so we rely on the public to provide that information to us. And this is an issue, but this is an issue that we can address. And so having that information is important from a code enforcement standpoint, so we can actually enforce the ordinances and you know.
Well, and I agree with you, the point we have to enforce it. But when we do enforce it, we've got to get that on our website or something, so the people that are frustrated about it see that we are addressing it. And I'm not sure how we do it.
We do
But-
post. We have been posting, just like the meetings,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
Well, it
So
would
we-
certainly be in the reports that we get quarterly, you know. I don't know about the detail of it, but.
It may be a helpful reminder that we put on our social media, right? Hey, FYI, you can't rent out boats from your property, right? Violate section 4.01, you know, riparian rights. You know, you can't allow, you know, habitable living space in a detached accessory building, right? That's 4 point whatever for accessory structure. So, you know, we can start getting better about reminding folk about what the zoning ordinance says.
Mike, can you put together just a list with our current ordinances of things that, primarily riparian, that we could get up, and I'll have Monica tomorrow, I'll meet with Tom at our 11 o'clock meeting, and we'll kind of put together and finalize it, we can put up, and start doing that.
Yeah, sure.
on our
And
social
we might want to include, if you know about any of these. let us know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anonymous reporting of a neighbor or,
Right. But, you know, we can't help the residents out if we don't know about the issue. So that's really what, you know, we want to get back to is,
Jump on that one, Gopal.
We got 1983 here.
I totally get it. I just imagine every neighbor calling us on everything that every other neighbor's doing. You
Yeah.
know, if you see something, say something, and,
Yep.
Mr. Gopal, we get that anyway.
Yeah.
sorry?
We get that anyway.
Well, if we advertise it,
Might get more.
you're gonna have to change our full-time employee contracts.
oh, you can always put Mike's cell phone number on it.
Okay.
And his home number?
And his address.
Burner phone.
All
Love
right,
it.
any other comments or questions from the board? All right, I need a motion to schedule a joint meeting between the Fenton Township Board and the Fenton Township Planning Commission for Thursday, September 14th, 2023, at 6:30 PM to review and discuss potential amendments to the zoning ordinance related to short-term rentals.
So moved.
Yeah,
If
no,
I-
You already know.
Oh, well, no, I just want to say, you can't schedule the planning commission. They are already scheduled. You can schedule your meeting, but you can't schedule the planning commission. That's an autonomous body. They're already scheduled. You're just scheduling your meeting. That's all I wanted to say.
And the only thing I would add is that some of this may well be beyond the zoning ordinance. Some of this I expect to be police power ordinance when we get there. And we're not that far yet, but I do expect some of it. I could tell you what I expect, but it's not germane to what we're doing. I only raise it because the language you talked about was amendment just to the zoning ordinance. So I don't
Okay.
think it's critical at this point that we amend the motion.
Not to
We're
make the
just, we're
meeting,
just, we're just scheduling the meeting.
or to schedule
It's
it.
not gonna limit the agenda, I don't think.
I can just take out the last sentence.
So then the planning commission at their next meeting should schedule their own special meeting? Is that what should happen?
Because
They
we
already
did
have
this
a
last
meeting.
time.
They already have a meeting.
They already have a
Okay.
meeting that night, correct?
Just include it on the agenda.
So they just wouldn't, you wouldn't adjourn then? It would just continue on? and-
Right.
Got it.
Did we vote?
So
Yeah.
we'll make that amended
Yeah.
motion that Tom will
Yeah. Tom will
get
fix.
written properly
Tom
in
will
the
clean
minutes.
up.
I told him we should have stopped at that to this morning, didn't I?
Exactly what you said.
I told him, I said, you know what, I don't even want to put that last sentence in there, and I thought, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it.
And I just had to prove
And
you
it
right.
just had, yep, I knew Jack was gonna jump right on that. Yep. All right, do I have a motion?
We have
do.
a motion.
We have a
We have a motion and a second?
That
All right,
was
motion's been
discussion.
moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Krug, will you call the roll?
Yes, I vote yes. Patrick?
Yes.
Kessler?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Gopal? Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. All right, moving on to new business. Resolution number 2023-24, Michigan Community Center Grant Program. We've all reviewed the memo in our packets. Operations Manager Broker, will you explain?
So as we discussed briefly at the last meeting, the township is planning to submit a grant application to the Michigan Community Center Grant Program. And we have 4 different projects that we're grouping under this one application. Solar panel installation, a permanent generator installation, the renovation of the terraced structures, and renovation of the balcony on the lower level. So based on estimates we've received, we're looking at a range of $385,000 to $400,000. And then our grant consultant has indicated that the program encourages matching funds. So the resolution that's being presented tonight not only authorizes submission of the application, but also commits 20% of the project in matching funds from the township. And just to compare that to what we've already approved, over $80,000 for the 2 projects that we've not done yet, but we already have it in the budget, and 20% of that range would be $77,000 to $80,000.
So we're not asking the board to spend any more than they've already authorized. All right, are there any questions or comments from the board?
One thing I would say, and this is just the math, I would probably raise the percentage to 25%. I mean, that's just the way it struck me, and I have no idea whether the percentage of the, matching funds, is it just that you have it, or just the amount that you have make any difference? I don't know. But 25% to me is, half of 50, it's a nice round number, but it also wouldn't cause us to commit more than what we've already spent. So I would put 25 in, because we've already done that already by virtue of the money that we've committed. So, and I haven't run the calculator, but it's close enough for me that I think 25% is safely within what we've approved, or close enough that it doesn't matter.
Well, if we're at the top end of 400, then 25% would be 100,000.
Yeah, so it's an extra 12.
And working with Paper Crane, Mike and I have been working with them for 6 months, and every grant's different. So
Yeah.
we take a look at each one,
Okay.
and we try to tailor it to what we feel is the best way to approach that grant. So if it was 25, we thought we'd have a better chance. I understand what you're saying. We would do that.
I admittedly have no idea, so,
Oh.
yeah, I'm
So
just asking the
This
question.
grant on the matrix for points, it's it's a part of a 10-point section of the application, and there's no, like, if you provide X amount, you get X more points. It's just,
Okay.
out of these 10 points,
So you check the box no matter what you're,
right.
yeah, well, that's fine, that makes a move. Thank you, Mike.
And every grant's different, so there are some that would require a 25%. Any other questions or comments from the board? Hearing none. Okay, resolution number 2023-24. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, thank you. It authorized the submission of an application to Michigan Community Center Grant Program in the approximate amount of $385,000 to $400,000. Commits matching funds for the project equal to 25%. I'll move the resolution.
You said 25.
Yeah, is that what,
I don't,
oh, I
We're
thought,
gonna leave
it doesn't, it turns out from what Mike's saying, it doesn't matter, so I don't care.
okay, I just,
Yeah,
It should be 20.
20.
Okay.
Leave that 20.
Yep.
an amendment is commits matching funds for the project equal to 20%. I will move the resolution.
Second.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
I vote yes. Gopal?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Thanks, Bob. Next under new business is resolution number 2023-25. Genesee County Road Commission permit for Lake Fenton High School homecoming parade. Lake Fenton High School wishes to hold their annual homecoming parade along Torrey Road between North Long Lake Road and Laring Road again this year. The date of the parade is Friday, September 22nd, so mark that on your calendars. The Genesee County Road Commission requires the Township Board to authorize the appropriate application. A resolution has been prepared for that authorization. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, resolution number 2023-25. Clerk Kerr, will you please call or read the resolution?
Authorize Lake Fenton Community Schools to make application to Genesee County Road Commission on behalf of the township for a permit to hold the Lake Fenton High School homecoming parade on Friday, September 22nd, between the hours of 4 and 6, within the right-of-ways of Torrey Road, between North Road and Laring Road. I'll move the resolution.
The resolution's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Kerr, will you please call the roll?
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Cottrell.
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Next under new business is resolution number 2023-26, Genesee County Solid Waste Management Plan Amendment. I'm sure we've all read and reviewed the cover letter in our packets. Operations Manager Broker, do you want to add anything?
Just that the county has approved their amendment to their solid waste management plan, and the state requires that 67% of the local units of government in the county also approve the plan in order for it to get approval from the state. So they requested our approval of the plan. I did send that under separate cover because it was a rather large document. I did put it, there's a summary sheet in the packet.
Okay, thanks. Tom, are there any questions or comments from the board?
It's usually well received.
I was disappointed to see the pie chart that shows that more than half of the solid waste comes from other counties or Canada. Now, these people know far more about this than I do, but I will say that pie chart caused me to pause.
Well, they truck
Been going
over
on forever.
waste every day.
Yeah, and I know they're making a lot of money doing it. I mean, these are privately owned refuse facilities, and the county's job is to look to make sure we've got adequate room to take care of ourselves. And yeah, I'm not going to second guess them, but it caught my attention.
Most of the trucks you see on 69,
Is that what it is? Canadian trash?
they are, absolutely.
I thought too that the total waste diverted, that 9% is abysmal. I mean, you're talking about recycling, you know,
Yeah,
what out of
recycling.
your trash can be recycled? And I can only speak to my home, but when I roll my 2 bins out to the curb, because there's only 2 of us who live in our house, every other week when they pick up recycling, my recycling is greater than my trash.
I have 2 recycle bins.
Yeah, and it seems
why?
crazy to me that, you know, I know not everyone has curbside pickup. I mean, we do in Fenton Township, which I love, but I thought the 9% for the county was terrible.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think Broker probably beats us both for recycling. He's the resident expert on recyclable stuff. And,
Why not?
yeah. Why wouldn't you? I mean, it's
We live close enough to the Grand Blanc landfill to
Yes, we
be
do.
a reminder every
get
time
about-
we drive past it.
2,000 seagulls that come from
Yeah.
there every night.
I call it Mount Trash.
Land out right here on our lake, so.
I'll ask Republic if they have a number for our township of diversion, because I believe our community is,
I bet you it's
probably
way
has a
higher.
good percentage.
Yeah.
But countywide, yeah, to be half of the state average is not a good look.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Resolution number 2023-26, Clerk Crew, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, it approves the amendment to the Genesee County Solid Waste Management Plan. I'll move the resolution.
I'll support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded.
Didn't say a lot, did
That's
it?
a summary.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
I better do it quick. Kessler,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Cottrell,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel, Massive resolution passes.
All right, next under new business is proposed revised employment agreements, assessor, fire chief, operations manager, and zoning administrator. Just to give you a background again for the board, for those of you who don't remember, is when I started, it was my first was in April. I believe in all management positions should have a review. So what my process is usually I send out a self-evaluation. That self-evaluation allows them to give me input privately, what they think of their job, issues with their jobs, things like that. Then we sit down, we review those together, go over their job. After that is done, I meet with the personnel committee. The personnel committee and I met. We went over all of the self-evals. I kind of gave them, you know, what my thoughts were on each position. And then I'm here today to make a recommendation to the board for those 4 positions. All of it is in your packet. Is there any questions or comments from the board?
My only question is, are these increases over the prior year?
Yes. Any other questions? It's a very thorough process. I think the township and the residents should know we have an amazing team here. And I'm not just talking the 4 that work directly under me. Everybody that works for this township works hard. I see it each and every day. I'm here every day. And each and every one of them, the way that they treat the residents here at the township, the way they handle problems, I mean, it's a machine. We are, you know, and you don't really realize that when you're living in a township. And I go to the MTA meetings and I hear what happens in other municipalities. Their boards fight, you know, we have a machine here, and I'm not just saying that, we really do. We have an amazing team, we have an amazing board, a very diverse board. We don't always agree, but I think everyone that sits here and everybody that works in this township has one thing in mind when they come to work every day, and that's to either, well, just to work for the residents of the township, so, and I mean that. So, any other questions or comments from the board?
If I would, I'd comment on the board. This board's salary is like bottom line horrible compared to, and I keep saying that, and you guys do whatever, but
We need to give them the power to make a motion just on that specific issue, right?
whatever, you know, you think, but if you compare to other municipalities in the area, this board is way, way, way underpaid.
Is that a motion?
Support.
Well, you know, before we go on, I'll say this. I've sat on the ZBA, I've sat on the Planning Commission, and I've sat on this board. And I will say it because I'm sure if you're sitting here, you're worried about getting elected back to office if you give yourself a raise. In my opinion, I'll tell you, everybody that works on this board and every one of our other boards certainly deserves a raise. I'll be the one to take the heat. They can recall me. I'm going to tell you, to come to a meeting for $60 and you work on the ZBA, you may have 7 things on the agenda. You get in your car and you spend a day driving to all of those properties. You can't just look at them on your phone. You have to go out and look at those properties. What's a day worth? And, you know, 20 miles on your car every month. That doesn't include coming to the meeting. So I agree with you, Jack, but that's a board decision that it's out of my control. It's the personnel committee, but I'd be the first to support it.
Well, could I make a motion that the township divide Attorney Belzer's salary equally between the 7?
Support?
It was a unanimous vote. You just didn't hear me ask.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, I need a motion to approve the revised employment agreement for Assessor Julia Wilson with an effective date of 4/19/23 as presented.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. That motion passes.
I should vote on it.
Oh, yeah, Clerk Kerr, will you please call the roll? Sorry.
Patrick.
Just want to get through it.
Kessler.
Yes.
I vote yes. Gopal.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Julia made it.
All right, Julie made it, all right. All right, I need a motion to approve the revised employment agreement for Fire Chief Ryan Bolts with an effective date of 4/19/23 as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Go! Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Kirk, will you please call the roll?
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Cottrell,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Kessler.
Yes.
I do believe in this case, we should send them monies to his spouse. But, side vote, go ahead.
Oh, my God. All right, I need a motion to approve the revised employment agreement for Operations Manager Tom Broker with effective date of 4/19/23 as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Kessler,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Cottrell,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, I need a motion to approve the revised employment agreement for zoning administrator Michael Deem with an effective date of 4/19/23 as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Cottrell,
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion passes.
Three of our executives are here tonight, from me personally, and I'm sure I can speak for this board. Thank you for what you do for the township. Well deserved. All right, next under new business is Overdose Awareness Day proclamation. I'm sure we've all reviewed the information in our packet. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, clerk Krug, will you please present the proclamation?
Want me to read it?
Would you want Tom to read it?
I didn't,
Yeah, it's,
I looked and it wasn't where I
yeah,
thought it would.
I could just read it.
Okay, go ahead,
It's
Tom.
easier.
Save me, I'm sinking.
Whereas the overdose epidemic has taken a heartbreaking toll on our nation, claiming the lives of far too many Americans and devastating families and communities across the country. And whereas August 31st, 2023 is Overdose Awareness Day, a time to remember those tragically lost to overdose and the pain of the families who are left behind, but it is also an opportunity to recommit ourselves to working together to build safe, healthy, and resilient communities and work toward objectives to reduce overdose risks and lower barriers to treatment and support in order to save more lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township Board of the Charter Township of Fenton does hereby proclaim Thursday, August 31st, 2023 as Overdose Awareness Day. We call upon the citizens of Fenton Township and across the nation, as well as government agencies, civic organizations, healthcare providers, and research institutions to raise awareness of substance abuse disorder, to promote treatment and celebrate recovery, and to strengthen our collective efforts to prevent overdose deaths.
Thanks, Tom. All right, I need a motion to adopt the Overdose Awareness Day proclamation as presented.
Support.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Cottrell,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, did I move too fast?
I don't
Somebody
know,
want to comment?
I don't know whether Tom did it on purpose or not, but I would point out, he corrected the motion, or the proclamation as he was reading it. And I don't know if your eyeballs just inbrained it, or you did it intentionally.
I didn't even
Yeah.
catch that. What did I do?
So, where it says, the last full line, or substance, and you said abuse, which is what they intended to type, but it says substance use disorder, and you caught it on the fly.
Oh,
Just say you caught it, Tom, just say, yeah,
Okay.
I got that.
yeah, I
Brain's
got
working
that.
fast.
It's like,
Talk about that
you're not helping, Fred.
Jump right in, Fred.
All right, next under new business, the sale of retired township vehicle. We've all reviewed the memo in our packets. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, okay, I need a motion to approve the sale of the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado pickup in an as-is condition with no warranties or guarantees, express or implied, to Tim, I don't want to barbecue this, Kruska? I hope that's right, for a total price of $3,375.
Just to correction, it's 2004, not 2024.
Yeah, okay.
What is it?
2004, all right.
It's written correctly.
Oh.
Vince-
No, I just read it wrong.
I didn't want
Opposite
people
of
to think
Tom.
we're selling a brand
The
new
opposite.
vehicle.
Opposite of
Very
Tom.
much opposite day.
I'd like one too if it's.
Yeah, exactly, I'd take one too. Old blue, we got a motion? Did we do it?
I'm waiting for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Kessler,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Cottrick,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. All right, moving on to the next business order is board comment. Is there anyone on the board who has additional comments or concerns?
I would like to just, if we could have Chief Bowles come up here and just give us a kind of a breakdown of what our ambulance service provided for Linden at the incident, last week, you know what I'm talking about?
12 units, that's,
I just want that put out
yeah,
there.
I
You
think
just
that's
get back
fair.
from Big Sur?
I didn't know I was gonna be speaking tonight, so I came in street clothes.
But you're looking good.
So we had an
That's his
incident,
name.
2 Sundays ago. We had a collapse of a deck, which had 25 individuals on it, and we sent 6 of them to the hospital. With our agreement with MedStar Ambulance, they supplied us with 12 ambulances, all MedStar rigs to that call. To have a incident like that, for the geographic size of our county, to have that many rigs from one company come, it speaks volumes for what that company's doing for our community. So, again, you guys made the right decision, and I think we're gonna fly with this, so. Everything worked great, along with the county paramedics that showed up, and we also contacted the City of Linden Fire Department in Fenton because we needed more rescue equipment to help shore the deck up to get the rest of the individuals off of it. They were physically moved into the basement of the home. One patient was trapped with her leg underneath the deck, which had to be removed to get her out, so.
The deck had to be removed.
But looking at the deck physically, it looks like there was some major rot along the house where the deck was. I don't recommend putting 25 people on that size of a deck ever. They're not designed to take that.
How big was it?
I believe it was 16 by 20. I'd have to look at the report. I mean, it should physically stand it with,
It should, yeah.
with,
320 square feet divided by 25.
Well, that's exactly the situation we've been talking about with
Yep.
our deck with 200, so I just think it's,
yeah.
I mean, to have it happen, the exact scenario we're concerned about,
Right.
but.
Yeah, I don't want to be the headlines of the paper with that. I mean, it's definitely going to be a well-deserved fix for the township. We did dig into it, the building department, and found out there was not a permit pulled on it. So, we'll see where we go from there.
Just to remind the board, Chief, you and I sat through a lot of meetings, but that was your recommendation with MedStar. It's
Yes.
a great
And a very good.
Great
Yes.
recommendation from our fire chief, and I'm sure it saved a lot of lives since that
Yes,
decision was
it
made
did.
by this board. So,
Chief?
Welcome.
thanks, Chief.
Yep.
Anything else? Any other board comment?
Well, just for information, Fred Schultz has passed away, so I just,
It's Friday.
yeah,
Funeral is tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
tomorrow, yes.
Service.
Yes.
St. John's, and I don't remember the time.
Any other board comment? All right, moving on to the next business order, which is public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. I'll now open up the meeting for public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. Is there anyone here present that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Anybody that's here? Yes, Fred, come on up. Step at our new, yeah,
Yeah, we
got
checked
that
out the new
podium just for
Diaz,
you.
man.
Yeah, thank you. Can I lean on it? To your point, my dad had a medical incident, and MedStar arrived over in Grand Blanc. He was at Pizza Mia. And I have to say, I worked in the ambulance world. These guys were all top-notch that were on the rig. So just another pass along to to the chief as far as that's concerned. Just an FYI, while I was sitting here trying to find the password to get onto the internet here, onto the guest services, nobody seemed to know it. But I was able to look up VRBO. There's currently, for the week of February 14th, for a 1-week period, I just plugged it in, 37 houses in the township of Fenton that are listed on VRBO. 7 of those are lakefront. So I just wanted to go ahead and pass that along.
I'm starting to reconsider, it might have been 46 that they identified, but I'll find the article and get a copy to everybody.
Yeah. I do have
I was surprised.
Yeah, it seems like an awful lot, but it's growing. It's going to be an interesting
Well, the
scenario.
off-lake numbers
I have a
surprise me.
I have a question as far as keyholing and the number of boats on the lake, and as we talked about people renting. Whose responsibility is that to police it? Is it the DNR? Is it the township?
We have an ordinance.
We haven't,
Okay, so it's a township
It is,
ordinance
yes.
that would be.
it's a
that would be
violation of the
fair.
township ordinance, we are responsible.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you very much. Good meeting tonight.
Thanks, Fred. Is there anybody else that has, that is with us this evening in the audience that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Hearing none, I will move to Zoom. Don, you're the only one on with us this evening. Would you like to address the board on any agenda or non-agenda items? If so, unmute. All right, hearing none. If there's no one else on Zoom or anyone that is here attending this evening that would like to address the board on non-agenda items or agenda items, it is now 7:21 p.m. If there's nothing else, I say good night and the meeting is adjourned.